Oh,
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Petty and Ill-Informed podcast, where we venture our petty and ill-informed opinions about a variety of topics. Joining me, I have two co-hosts this week instead of zero from last week. Gabby, thanks again for stepping in. So,
Gabby,
what is
you're
up,
the
Nikki?
nothing much. Just working. Working. Not a whole lot.
Tom, what have you been
I'm
up to?
boring.
Yeah, but I'm afraid my life is equally banal and
Uneventful.
haven't
And
been doing an
facile.
haven't been doing an awful lot. Just chilling with the fam. Did a week's supermarket shopping today across 3 supermarkets. Grabbed a load of stuff. Found my mum's.
Whoa. 3 supermarkets.
Yes, when we do our family
You went
shopping.
to 3 individual supermarkets.
Well, yes, that's how we do it. When we do our
That
family
sounds so
shopping,
triggering to me. That sounds
Why?
like not a good time.
That's why I'm
No.
making a big deal out of it. I'm actually triggered. Why would you go to 3 different supermarkets?
I do it. Well, I do it. It's par for the course for me. I do it every Saturday. I didn't know this was going to be a talking point, but yeah, bring it on.
What do you mean you didn't know it was going to be a talking point? Who goes to 3 separate supermarkets to do the grocery shopping?
You're talking to 2 people that have to like pump themselves up to get out of the vehicle to go into the grocery store. So
Yeah,
do tell. Is
we
this
didn't
because
go into
is
the
this
grocery store.
because like my sister does this and it's because she goes, "Oh, I can get the chicken at Aldi's for cheaper than Walmart, but Walmart has the condensed milk I need for X, Y, and Z on sale. And then also I have to go to Kroger because milk and eggs is where I get that from there." Is it one of those where you have specific places that you get certain things from?
Well, Nikki, you've put it far more succinctly than I ever could. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
insane. You're an insane person.
No,
That's
it's all about having a family and needing to make ends meet. I mean,
Yeah.
he's also a teacher, so he's not making a whole lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
Well, home bar. We try to save money wherever we can in life.
Right,
generally.
absolutely.
And,
Absolutely. And you're
home-
vegan, so that makes things so much more expensive.
Well,
So, out of interest, what were the names of these 3 supermarkets you went to?
well, the first one isn't quite a supermarket. It's Home Bargains. It's
Okay.
I mean, it kind of is really, but it doesn't try to have everything. It just has whatever they can get at the bottom end of the buying market, I guess. And they'll have like the same thing for 6 months, and then it'll disappear, and then it'll come back. And things like that.
I go to places like that. Essentially, what they do is say you have a truck with a bunch of castaways or damaged package or whatever the reason is. Then you have a company like your bargain house home thingy, and they will buy that truck. They don't know what they're getting in it. They could get 2 million units of like zip ties and nothing else, or they could like hit the jackpot and get like TVs and crap. They never know. It's just they're buying a truckload of stuff.
Yeah.
Just FYI, that's how those work.
And the other 2 supermarkets?
Well, that was that makes sense, Nikki. That's how I kind of pictured it. Then Aldi, because they are absolutely great, but they don't have every single thing. And
No, they absolutely don't.
And then, so the last one is Tesco, where I get just a handful of things that you can only get in Tesco. They do a remotely bearable vegan cheese, the least worst vegan cheese out there, which of course isn't cheese at all. It's mostly made from coconut oil, so it is a bit ick. And,
right.
But the Cathedral City, one of those, is actually not too bad at all. I mean, normally I like these things like melted in enchiladas or things like that. But this one really wasn't too bad. I even ate a piece of it. Even before I was vegan, I was never big on cheese anyway. It was never my thing, really. I was just, Boursin was about as adventurous as I got, which is just a French garlic cream cheese. and was never into Stilton or anything like anything sophisticated. No way. And then so I digress. Got Tesco do things like vegan cheese. They do a lot of herbs and spices that were on the list. You can only get there. I mean, neither Aldi nor Home Bargains they have a fair few, but they don't have everything. Like if I want to say cinnamon sticks, then I'll need to go to Tesco. They have a much greater choice in beer than the other two. I'm drinking a Black Sheep Ale from Tesco right now, which is damn nice beer. Would have helped if Hannah and I hadn't managed to, between us, spill it and slop half of it over the bedroom, but never mind. But apart from that, damn nice beer. So there's our cream coconut. My wife makes these gorgeous coconut buns with this cream coconut. You can only buy that in Tesco's. Yeast. Oh shit, I forgot the yeast today. Arse. I've only just realised I forgot it. That's I failed. I've got to go back and get some tomorrow. Never mind.
That's great.
Yeah, but then I've just remembered. I tried to keep a list with me, but I lost it somewhere along the route. And I lost my phone, and then I had to pick up that. And they said, I went over to the customer service desk and said, phone been handed in. They said, yeah, this one. I said, oh, yeah, that's mine. And she said, what was last on it? I said, I can unlock it. I know the PIN because it's mine. And she went, oh, okay. And then did. But apparently the right answer would have been coconut buns, because that was the last thing I looked at in our. We have an app that we log all our recipes in and plan ahead for the week and stuff. And because I'd lost the paper, I was using the app and seeing what bits I'd need for what meals. And the last thing I looked at was the coconut buns. And that would have been the right answer.
Coconut buns.
Yeah. The recipe for coconut buns. It's great. It's just bread, but then with this
coconut.
This cream coconut like spread on top at the end. It does them in these rolls. Now, I haven't worked out how to do these properly. What I really want to do when I make these coconut buns next, I must do it over Christmas, is get the creamy coconut paste and get that in the, like, rather than sat on top, because it's done as like a swirl, but then the stuff tends to sit on top. What I want to do is get it in between, in the middle of the swirl, So it's really, so it's a little like layered in a circle, in a spiral, interwoven with the swirly bread. If that makes any sense at all, which it probably doesn't. But yeah, I'd love to really just mix them up a lot closer together. I think it'd be a lot nicer than just plonking it on top, which is what we do at the moment.
Yeah,
but it's still really, really nice stuff. So, Richard,
cool.
You had some stuff you wanted to talk about, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was earlier in the week, there was a hoax going around on the internet that I fell for, that I wanted to briefly discuss.
Yep.
Okay.
That Chris Chan's girlfriend was pregnant. Turns out she wasn't. The world isn't going to end. We can all relax.
That's good. It's good to know.
I'm glad Putin didn't listen to me when I told him to launch the nukes and just end it. But
why?
That was.
Why would this be such a catastrophe for the human race?
He really.
Dude.
The best. Just trust that this man does not need to procreate. His mother, Alzheimer's patient invalid, and he was having relations with her.
His own mother?
Yeah.
How? I don't know.
It's weird. It's weird that everybody always says that, his own mother, and ignores the invalid with dementia part.
Well, that just makes it even worse. No, we don't ignore it. That's like the icing on the cake. I mean, that is obscene on so many levels. What the actual fuck? Was this guy like a celebrity beforehand or something? Or is he just
he's
infamous?
Yeah, he's basically famous for being awful.
He's infamous. He's not famous. He's never been famous. He's always been infamous.
Yes, he was infamous.
The internet's first lolcow.
Okay. I mean, well, how long ago did this make the news?
What, Christian? 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Or do you mean fucking his own mother? That was like 3 years ago.
Right.
He went to jail for 2 years for it.
But now he's out.
But now he's out and he has a girlfriend. Don't ask me how. And it was going
It's
around that she was
all-
pregnant. And I was done, man. I heard that and I was like, okay, that's it. This is it. This is the end times. You know, you got liberals screaming Trump being elected is the worst thing. No, that's not the worst thing. This is the worst thing. We are on the darkest timeline. But it turned out it was fake. Chris Chan himself was like, no one's pregnant, calm down. In a rare moment of clarity from a man who's regularly preaching that all cartoons exist in real life and their dimensions are going to merge with ours.
Yeah, he's crazy.
He's cray. Nuts.
Yeah,
So that was the first thing.
certifiable.
That was the first thing I wanted to talk about. The second thing I wanted to talk about was it's been a good year for rare birds in England. Okay, we've had Balearic shearwater, Fay's petrel, Leach's petrel, Pomeranian skewers, white-bellied divers, and a purple heron. Ooh.
Ooh.
Now, the most interesting thing was possibly a glossy ibis being seen in Kent.
Okay. A what? A
glossy ibis. They're very, very pretty birds.
Okay. And these things are exceptionally rare. Are they
These
just rare in our
things,
country, or are they rare all over the world?
No, they're rare in England.
Okay.
So their migratory habits have been thrown off significantly, is what you're saying?
No, they're what you call it, vagrants. There's historical database of them visiting England for whatever reason. It's just not very
Very often.
very often, yeah.
That's very cool.
That is. I love nature. At some point soon, I need to start the latest BBC series, which is called Asia, and we're so blessed that David Attenborough's still not pushing up the daisies himself. I mean, the dude's almost 100.
Sorry, I was just giggling because you said BBC, and that means something very different in the US.
Oh yeah.
Big black.
Oh, of course, yes.
You got it. Now, raptor-wise, we haven't had that good of a year. We've had a pallid harrier in Norfolk. That was nice. Montague's harriers in Suffolk, but we usually get Montague's harrier. A red-footed falcon, in Dorset. But we got ourselves black kite in Wexford in Ireland, which is very unusual. They don't usually go that far west. We get them in Dover a lot in the summer. It's been reported this year was the first year they successfully bred in England. I don't know if that's true or not. I can't find any confirmations. But a black kite in Ireland, that's pretty big.
Cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about.
Of these birds.
Today in bird news.
I
love it.
Oh, black kite's gorgeous.
Bird news.
It's like must be related to kestrels.
Black kite, no.
Or a falcon or something. It's got the same little curvy beak.
Oh my god, no, it doesn't.
The same little curvy beak.
No, it doesn't.
Sure, it does.
The kites and falcons are not remote. Kites are closer to vultures than falcons.
Oh yeah.
Curvy beak, Jesus. The wings are totally different, and the tails are totally different from a falcon as well.
Well, they've got the same. They've got similar heads and little similar beaks.
Do you mean they're both birds?
Yeah, that's the one. That's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
Well, why stop there? Basically, all birds are sparrows, right? Because they've all got little bird heads and wings.
Does that? Okay. For falcons, I've just looked up a falcon, and yeah, their heads are a lot smaller and cuter, and they haven't really got much in the way of a neck. Which
No, totally different, and the beaks are different shape too.
Getting all worked up over a damn bird.
Well, a damn bird! Don't you start
Damn
with me.
bird.
These birds are really cute.
Anyway, it's been a good year for rare birds.
That's great.
They don't look like vicious hunters. They look ever so sweet.
Well, they're not really vicious hunters of humans, no.
That would be awesome and terrifying.
Well, I'm sure there'll be plenty of Hollywood B movies that deal with a falcon the size of a Spitfire.
I'm sure there are. There's gotta be. There's like entire groups of people that are like terrified of birds, all because of one movie. There's gotta be more out there.
I haven't ever really watched. Well, I haven't watched those films like Sharknado, or
great movie,
or where they combine like two animals in one.
Zombievers. Those are great.
Zombievers is a fucking brilliant movie. I don't understand why the humans that were bitten turned into beaver zombies, but the rest of it was great. And the bear beaver zombie was brilliant. I love that movie.
I like Cockneys versus zombies. That movie brought so much joy to my heart. It's such a fun watch.
I haven't seen that one.
It's great. You should watch it. It's hilarious.
Cockneys versus zombies.
Yes. They're shambler zombies, so they don't move very fast, and part of it takes place in a nursing home. So I'll just leave you with that. It's a beautiful film. Heartwarming.
Okay, I might check it out. Blimey.
It's genuinely funny. If you like Shaun of the Dead and parodies like that, you'll appreciate it.
Sadly, I didn't really get on with Shaun of the Dead or any of the. No, there was one of that so-called Cornetto trilogy that I did like. That was The World's End. The other two, I couldn't really get on board with Hot Fuzz and.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz wasn't the greatest.
It was better than At World's End. I mean, At World's End was awful. But
I didn't mind that. I thought that was.
Of course, you liked it. Bloody contrarian.
Somewhere in the corner, I've got a box set of stupidly named films. Let me go and then I think I watched the first half of one of them, and it was clearly done on such a shoestring budget. It was
too painful.
See, I love B movies like that are filmed with handheld cameras.
I hate them.
Found footage B movies are the best genre of films.
I have a hard time with the sound quality. If the sound quality is crap, I'm out. Like, I don't care if Bubba was out holding the camera and it's unsteady, and I don't care what the footage looks like, quote unquote. It doesn't have to be a great camera. But when your sound sounds like crap, I just can't do it.
Okay. God, these look terrible. Because okay. I've got these. This is a set of 4 films in a creature collection. I was given this by a friend of mine. It's Dino Shark,
Brilliant movie.
Dino Croc versus Super Gator,
That's another good one.
Sharktopus,
Never
That
seen
sounds amazing. That sounds
and
amazing.
Mega Python versus Gatoroid.
I've not seen that one either. I've seen the other 2.
Richard's a connoisseur of B-rated movies.
I'm going to put my camera on and hold these things up. So that's Dino Shark.
It's show
Half
and tell
dinosaur,
time.
half shark, half man.
Sharktopus.
Oh, and they ripped off Jaws for that one. Brilliant.
Dino Croc versus Super Gator. And Mega Python versus Gatoroid.
How do you make a super gator?
I don't know. Don't ask me.
I think they're pretty super all on their own.
Oh,
I watched a little bit of one of them and then gave up, if I remember rightly.
It's just some guy with like an alligator stuffed animal making noises behind the camera. Roar, roar.
There are a couple of films there are a couple of films out there that made it to DVD release that are so that are done like just a couple of high school students and
like the old Godzilla movies.
Hey, those old Godzilla movies were a huge part of my childhood.
I think that they're hilarious. You know, Godzilla would go to make a left hook and he would miss and then fall down because I guess that the claymation people are like, we'll just go with it. Why are you step back up?
What I would have liked to have seen are just I haven't conjured up this memory in a long time. I used to watch when I was a kid, like probably about 10 years old. We used to watch on, I think, Saturday morning, Muppet Babies. And
I loved
once an
Muppet
episode,
Babies.
they would open a cupboard door, and behind it would be black and white footage from some 1950s movie of some alien or octopus or slime monster or something like that, or some creature running around with tentacles. They'd open that and go, whoa, and then close the door again. What were all those movies? Where did they get that footage from?
Who knows? Probably just some like public library, so they don't have to pay any kind of royalties. Just, you know,
I don't
whatever
know.
they could get that's for public use.
I haven't thought of Muppet Babies in ages. It was cool, wasn't it?
It was a cool little show.
Yeah, I used to love it.
Actually, met the artist that did like Ren and Stimpy and Rick and Morty and stuff like that, and got a signed picture from him.
Right.
He's a pretty cool guy.
What was the show you mentioned then?
He does Rick and Morty. He did Ren and Stimpy.
That's it.
He basically, if you were a cartoon back then, he drew you.
Okay.
He also did the Venture Brothers and stuff like that.
Go Team Venture.
Heck yeah. Team Venture. But yeah, I met him and I was like, you like shaped my childhood, guy. I grew up watching, he did Rugrats as well. I was like, I grew up watching all these.
The Monarch was like the greatest villain in cartoon history. I love the Monarch so much.
He's such a great villain. And by great, completely not good at all.
The Monarch.
At what he does.
The mighty Monarch, yeah.
I don't have any memory of this.
You've never watched the Venture Brothers?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, it's a great show. It's a cartoon. It was on Adult Swim on Cartoon Network, but it is a genuinely funny show, and Patrick Warburton's a voice on it, so you know it's going to be good.
Yeah, that by itself.
That by itself, anything with Patrick Warburton's voice, I'll watch it.
I'll watch anything with Patrick Warburton in. Yeah.
Yeah, or H.
Anything.
John Benjamin's voice, the guy that does. Yeah, he does Bob's Burgers and Archer.
I've
I
only
know
seen
you
a-
know.
I've seen a few episodes of Bob's Burgers, but not all of them. I think
Oh,
the
you
whole
should
thing- Go on.
go ahead. I was
I was
going to
just
tell
gonna
you
say-
that you should watch it. Like that's all.
Yeah.
You should watch it.
Well, I mean, last thing you told me to watch was Supernatural, and I watched the first season, and then probably a couple of years ago now, I got a box set of seasons 1 to 5, and I still haven't started season 2. I'm watching. It never makes it to the top of the list.
You watched the crappiest season.
Oh,
That's all good. You can actually watch one of the shows with your boys. What show were we just talking about? Oh, Bob's Burgers. You can watch Bob's Burgers with the boys.
Hashtag
public
the
enough, is
boy.
it? I could try it with Dan. He's not very good at concentrating on stuff. a lot
Yeah.
of the time. But no, I could.
I mean,
Dan's
it's
the
a
bad
cartoon.
one, right?
Pardon?
Dan's the bad one.
Well, he's got 2 kids. One of them's good, one of them's bad.
That's not true.
Good and bad indeed.
There's just
It's not
Dan
a
and
reflection
Dan.
of Tom's parenting, all right? It's just, genetics and stuff.
Don't be mean. That's not what it's like at all.
Dan's not bad. He's actually
He's
been
not.
touch wood. He's actually been doing all right lately.
It takes a while for them to kind of get into their own, you know.
Yeah, but he's been he's had a few emotional, turbulence
Meltdowns.
but he's honestly doing pretty well right now. He speaks to us much more nicely than most teenagers do. At least at the moment. So we'll take it.
Yeah. Before he starts, you can't tell me what to do.
You're not my real dad.
Meh.
Meh.
I don't think we've heard from him. You're not my real dad.
He needs to start.
Yeah, every teenager needs to go through that phase. It's a
You're
rite
not
of
like
passage.
my dad. That's right. I went through it. And then I would remind my mom, who's my biological mother, that I had a stepmother I could go to. Just be like, you don't have to be my favorite.
Did you call your mum by her first name?
No, not no, never.
Never
My
went that
mom, my mom would have bitch slapped me into next Tuesday. Like my great grandchildren would feel that slap. Like that would have been bad. No, I remember getting backhanded when I was like 5 or 6 because I told her I didn't have to take her shit.
And then, of course,
Just
you learned
testing
that
boundaries.
You
And
did
then
indeed have to take it.
I learned very quickly that, I definitely had to take my mom's shit.
I don't know. Is that a good style of parenting? I mean, you turned out okay.
No. Don't bitch slap your kid because they were testing boundaries. Just don't do
Unless
it.
A, they deserve it, or B, you really want to.
Jack slapped across the face. She was not playing.
That's
But
interesting.
I had to learn that language from somewhere. Just saying.
It was all her fault.
Yeah, I'd say to her face to this day, I'm a grown woman. Will I still cover my butt as I walk away? Absolutely. But I'll say it.
Anyway,
right.
Tom, you wanted to
Tom.
talk about assisted suicide.
Yes, yeah, there was emotional scenes in the House of Commons this week because the Labour government supported a private member's bill to campaign for abortion. No, not abortion. Tom
Abortion.
To assisted suicide. Well, not that. I forget what exactly what it's. Is it called assisted suicide? It's
Euthanasia, isn't it?
yeah, that's another term for it. But it allows people to choose to die.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really happen very. It's not. It's only legal in a few countries in the world. There's a few, Switzerland is is sort of a haven for it, and people do sometimes fly out to Switzerland to end their lives. It does happen. It's very. It's been very, very controversial, very divisive, but the debate has been very, very calm. It's been very unusual to see people in the House of Commons, like, they've properly had a respectful debate. They've taken turns. They've not interrupted each other. There's no heckling, and a big reason for this is because there's no party line over this. It's all it's people are allowed a free vote, and that's got to be a good thing. So it's been passed, and it hasn't become law, but it has become it's now firmly on the table for closer scrutiny and for details. So that I wondered what you guys' thoughts on it might be, and I'd be very curious to hear.
Richard, go ahead first.
I say we start with the House of Commons for assisted suicide. Let's assist them, and then the House of Lords, then Parliament itself, and then we can turn our attention to the sick and the dying. But in all seriousness, I've never understood why it was illegal in the first place. If someone wants to die, why not let them? I mean, I do it for dogs.
Well, yeah, that was one thought that occurred to me. I had a friend. I've got somebody who is a Facebook friend. It's someone I've met in the real world. Haven't seen them for years. Let me look up what their post in response to this was. Very one-sided. It said, "May God have mercy on our country."
Which God? The Christian one, the Jewish one, or the Islamic one?
The Christian. It's disgusting. This is reading it from this person's Facebook page. "I know many on the other side of the argument were motivated by what they see as a genuine compassion, but it's a sign of the state of our nation. People's hearts deceived. We need revival." And that is so, like, single-minded, so certainly on one side. And I don't know how.
Well, that's how cultists are, my friend.
Well, seems to be so certain of the exactness of their truth, their so-called truth. It's really
to be so certain that you know better than a person whose own body they're having to inhabit. It's like the sheer audacity of saying, "I know better than all of these people." And honestly, take away the religious part of it, okay? Let's just pretend for a second. Let's set aside any talk of God or heaven or sin or hell or any of it.
Yeah.
Name one reason why it wouldn't be okay to help someone who is terminally ill commit suicide when they can no longer take it. No religion allowed.
What, one good reason?
Yeah, one good reason why it should be illegal to assist somebody in a medical setting. Just one good reason. Can you name one? Like that doesn't have anything to do with religion.
Yes, I can. One. I mean, I'm with you guys on this. Make no mistake. But
what's your reason?
The reason that is given is, the system could so easily people argue. I don't see it this way. The system could so easily be abused, and old people could feel forced into making this decision. That they could, sort of pressure could come upon them, deliberately or more subtly,
Imagined, right?
Or imagined pressure to end their lives if it's taking too much toll on the family, if they see themselves as a burden. That's what I've read it under expressed in those terms.
But that's the thing, right? Like when they put, at least in America, I'm going to speak for, because I only know about America crap. We have a few states in America that has assisted suicide, and they had to go through the same kind of stuff, but there are fail safes. Like you have to, it's not just because Mammy's 80 and she's getting up there in age and she can't really see because, her glaucoma is so bad, we're going to put her out. It doesn't lead to that. That's like, saying that drinking a beer is going to lead to you doing heroin. It's not going to happen. But, it's, they say it's a slippery slope, but there are methods and things enacting, like in action to keep that from happening. So Grammy's going to have to be terminal before she gets those pills, and she's going to have to talk to a medical professional, and they're going to talk to her about her mental state and all of that stuff before she even gets those pills. So what slippery slope is there? The only problem is now that she has those pills in her home, if, greedy daughter wants to open all 100 capsules and put them in her soda and hand it to her, and Gammy doesn't know, well, you now got inheritance money and nobody knows, any the wiser. But other than that, there are checks and balances in place to keep people from just committing suicide willy-nilly. The way it is in America, you can't be suicidal and just go into a doctor's office and be like, I found my 13th reason, give me some of those good pills. They're not going to do that.
What's the 13th reason? I mean,
You've never heard. Okay, yeah, 13th Reason Why. Like, there's that big show, on Netflix.
Yeah, I watched that.
So my 13th reason. I want to kill myself. You can't just walk into a clinic and get suicide meds.
Yeah,
you have to be terminal. So
you can't over here either.
So right, like but honestly, most of these people are like, oh God, help us pray for blah blah blah. They're thinking that if you commit suicide, you now do not go to heaven, you go to hell, period. There's no pass and go, no nothing. And that's a gross misreading of scripture, because it doesn't say anywhere in the Bible that if you kill yourself, it is the unforgivable sin.
Yeah, it's Catholic. It's really big in Catholicism, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. It is. It's a big thing in Catholicism, but also they want you to pay money so that they can pray your relative out of purgatory. So, that's a totally different bracket. But yeah, most people that have a problem with assisted suicide, they are thinking these people are going to die and go to hell and never go to heaven. And that's very serious for them.
Yeah.
And I get that that's very serious for them, but I also get that maybe they don't have a brain tumor that's causing so much pressure in their brain that their eyeball is literally popping out of their skull and they're in so much pain that they just want to get out of it. Like, they don't understand that. They would rather clutch their pearls than see ending human suffering, which
I
is
don't know.
basically what it is.
So,
I consider
trying to
myself
think
to be a
of,
pretty cynical bastard, right? But I didn't see it from Tom's
Yeah.
point of view. Whereas the government will use this as an excuse to kill old people.
They
Which, let's
absolutely
face
could
it,
later on.
that is exactly what they did during COVID.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, like, that's what they've done they were putting Quaker, like, they were putting radiation in Quaker oatmeal and feeding it to our old people in America. Like, we kill off our old people. It's what we do. Like, even countries that need their old people are inadvertently killing them off. Like, all the older folks in Japan who are still cleaning up waste because they don't want the youth to get stuck in and get sick and have all the issues that they're having. But anyway, we kill our old people. It's probably going to happen, but I don't find it to be a slippery slope. I really don't. I just think about all the people that are like terminal, and I believe that if you are terminal, you have the right to die with dignity and on your own terms.
I mean, one thing I disagreed with this guy who posted these things was talked about the sanctity of life somewhere, the sacredness of life. I think one of you, Richard, I think, said, "Well, look at what we do for animals." Only a couple of weeks ago, I took our cat to the vet, Hawkeye, to put her to do this for her, to put her to sleep, because she'd lost a lot of weight, and we sent had a blood test done, and it came back with dire readings saying she was had stage 4 kidney failure, and that was why she wasn't eating. She wasn't eating and couldn't eat anything, and so we put her down, and it was the first time I'd been there for that.
So
the first
sorry.
time. Oh, thanks, Nikki. It's she had 16 years of turning up on webcams and sticking her butt in people's faces. She was lovely. But what they did was they just gave her an injection of an anesthetic they just gave her a big overdose, and she just died big stroke within a few seconds, and they said she's gone, and that was it. I cried, I sobbed, I wept, but I mean, other than that, what was it, sort of life would it have been for her?
In that way is a virtually painless way to go. They say within 3 minutes of taking the medication, you're pretty much unconscious, and within 5, you're dead. Like, it is real quick. And there's a documentary you'd probably really appreciate. It's called How to Die in Oregon, or How to Die in Omaha. It's one of those two. Anyway, I think it's Oregon. And it goes into that, and actually follows around a woman that has stomach cancer who got her pills and, is scheduling a day to be with her family and, and to go ahead and take her meds and stuff. But I don't know. I think it's so much more, I think it's less traumatic on your family if that is your plan and that's what you carry out doing. There's no bloody mess anywhere. There's no surprises. You can call people and be like, hey, and just, I don't know. I think it's, speaking as someone who, I have Ehlers-Danlos, and if you look at the suicide rates of people that have what I have, they're incredibly high. They're like over
Oh.
60%. Yeah, because of the chronic pain that we deal with and the fact that, you know, we don't get the meds that we need to properly handle our pain. So, anyway, it's like well over 60% people with EDS will kill themselves. And the amount of stories that I have of people with Ehlers-Danlos who couldn't handle the pain anymore and went out to their backwoods and left a message on the table so that their, you know, parents wouldn't find them. Statistically, hotels and motels have a lot of suicides that happen in them because people don't want their family to find them. If you're terminal, I don't know. I just think that it's such a less traumatic and more gentle way to say goodbye to your family.
Yeah. I mean,
You know?
I agree. I do think it should be available to people, you know, overall.
Within
Having
reason,
weighed
like
it
I
all
said,
up,
you know, if you have,
it's a tough one.
as someone with
Yeah.
major depressive disorder, don't give it to people who are depressed. Don't do it. I don't care how chronic we are or whatever, because all it's going to take is one bad day that we could have gotten some kind of help somewhere else. And all we need is to have it accessible. So it doesn't need to go to depressed people.
Yeah.
Because that will happen on a whim. But a terminally ill person, yes. I
Yeah.
really think that if you are proven to be terminal, you should be able to kick it whenever you want to. Because it's going to happen anyway, you know? Might as well be on your terms without all the pain.
Yeah, I really feel that as well. I was going to say my uncle, when he died of cancer, and he was unrecognizable. He really was, and several of us were. I think my mum wasn't. I think she arrived just after, so she didn't have a chance to say goodbye. And yeah, maybe if he had, maybe he would have chosen that. I don't know.
Yeah, because then you can be like, you know what? They told me I only have so ever many more months. You know, I can schedule it for December, blah, de blah. Everybody show up. We're going to say goodbye, have a big hoopla, and then I'm just going to die. Like, I mean, because most people would prefer to have a notice on that anyway.
Yeah. Well, some would, some. So, I
That's
mean,
true.
here's the
Somewhat.
scenario. Here's a scenario which you wouldn't want. Imagine there's a couple, and one of them says, and that, you know, one of them just cannot bear the thought of them going, and they're praying for miracles, and they say, "Oh, you can." They say, I want to take assist. I want to take euthanasia. I want to go. And the other one goes, no. I mean, you can imagine it in episodes of ER or something.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You're going to stay with us. You're going to fight this. I'm done fighting. I'm worn out. No. You know, that whole conversation won't happen unless it's on the table.
That's true.
So but that's obviously not a good enough reason not to do it. I mean, basically, people being in absolutely excruciating pain, desperate for the pain to end, desperate for their lives to end, and just desperately waiting and hoping to die. But no, we can't do that. Sorry, we're not allowed. I mean, it's just as
right.
What if it's okay for cats and dogs? Why
are we
really
more humane to
arrogant
them?
to assume we're so much better than them and that we are somehow above this? I don't think so.
Right.
I think we're special animals, but all animals are special, and this is, you know, just because we're us and argue for the sake of an argument, we've become the dominant species on this planet, you know, with our communication.
We're sentient.
With our thumbs.
And to say that we're so magnificent, but to say we're so magnificent that the different rules apply to us, well, no, we're that's very arrogant, isn't it? Maybe, arguably.
Is
know,
it
not
arrogant or
100%
just
sure.
freaking cruel? Honestly, if you think about it, how
Well,
cruel
they
it is.
told yes, it would have been cruel to have kept Hawkeye
Like
alive.
who made this rule?
It would have been cruel to keep Hawkeye alive. That's what they told me, and I
Yeah.
trusted the vets.
Yeah, and
Oh, Phil's
sometimes
in the
it's
chat.
cruel.
Hey, Phil.
What up, Phil? I haven't been paying attention to chat.
No, me neither. I've been looking up
usually-
catchcalls and stuff.
I'm usually the main person in chat, but not today.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only person really that gets in there.
I've got it open. It's just it's usually filled with Gabby, so
And SoFlo.
and SoFlo. But yeah, it is a dangerous path to go. I mean, when I was a kid, I dreamed of being an involuntary euthanasiast when I growed up.
Just murdering people.
Involuntary euthanasia.
You can't spell slaughter without laughter.
Exactly.
It's true.
Oh. So
Tom is just now getting it. He started to like do it on his fingers. Slaughter. Laughter. Oh, you just take away the S.
You just take away the yes.
that was so clever. Who thought of that?
I don't know, man. I read it on a meme somewhere, I guess.
I
Probably.
first saw it in The Dark Knight when the Joker is driving that van. He has that on the side of
It's
his
such a
van.
great movie, and it's got so many good lines in it. And A Dark Knight Rises is such a terrible film and should be forgotten by mankind.
Nah, man, I like that more. You're
You're
hate me for it,
insane. You're insane.
Hey,
What
how
is
about
wrong
this?
with you?
Christian Bale is almost my least favorite Batman.
Yeah, I was going to say, you couldn't have done a worse job than George Clooney
George
did.
Clooney.
That was George Clooney as my least favorite. Yeah.
I mean, to credit to Val Kilmer, he didn't do a bad job.
He didn't. He had a shit script. Sometimes that happens.
It's just a bad. I would have loved
Ryan Reynolds
see-
in Green Lantern. Green Lantern.
Love to
Ryan
have
Reynolds
seen-
solid. Green Lantern shit.
because
Loved
Tim,
his-
what's his face? Tim Robbins. I always
Burt.
forget. Tim Burton.
Burton.
Jesus, I was dead off. Was actually supposed to do the third Batman film, and I really would wonder what he had in mind. He got fired essentially when they pitched Batman Returns as a kid-friendly movie, and
Yeah.
McDonald's were present in it, and then, of course, it wasn't, and he got fired from it. But I really would like to know what the third Batman film would have been like. Tim Burton had done it.
Better.
Yeah,
Well,
obviously.
One of the problems
Better.
No one would have cast Jim Carrey as the Riddler. Just
No.
whoever did that. What is wrong with you, man?
One of the things I noticed about it was the direction is just manic. It's so ridiculous. It's ahead of its time, really, because Marvel started doing that sort of thing a lot later. But it's not easy on the eyes.
If they hadn't made Batman and Robin, it would literally be the second worst Batman film ever made.
I know where you're going with this.
Batman and Robin is the worst Batman film ever made.
Oh, it's is it Joel Schumacher was I've heard this legend that Joel Schumacher, the guy who made it, I think that was his name, was talking to Woody Allen about it. Somebody, he went, you know what? I've made the worst film of all time. And he said, I'm sorry, my friend, but you haven't achieved even that.
Wow. Woody Allen has made many of the first films of all time. The worst film, sorry. Yeah, he's I don't know. I don't get his humor.
I've got one called Everything You Wanted to Know About Sex But Were Afraid to Ask. It's a series of, it's like an anthology thing. I've watched 2 or 3 of them. It wasn't anything particularly memorable.
Yeah, I watched.
I don't think I'm afraid to ask anything about sex. consent is very important. So you've got to be able to ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, that's a silly title.
Are you my sister? No. Then we're on.
Yeah, well, that didn't stop us.
You and your sister, you have a good time.
Okay. Sorry. God, that was amusing. Johnny Depp. No, it was going to be Michael Keaton again.
Mm.
Yeah, Deadpool and versus Wolverine was funny for like the first 10 minutes, but it got. It's definitely the best Marvel film in recent time, but it's the weakest of the Deadpool films.
I would agree, but then again, I
Oh.
like Deadpool 2 better than 1.
I agree.
So mine would go 2, 1, and then 3, I guess. But listen, the only reason I liked Deadpool 3 was because Channing Tatum freaking killed it. He got the accent. Oh, I'm so proud of him. I was very worried about.
He was really good as Gambit. I'm not
I
gonna
was
lie.
so worried because I have been against Channing Tatum being Gambit from the get-go. And then I found out apparently it's his favorite superhero too. And I was like, well, damn it. I should have not hated Channing Tatum for as long as I have.
To bring this conversation around, speaking of people you thought were cast wrong, I signed 3 online petitions to have Heath Ledger recast as the Joker for The Dark Knight.
I know. It's beautiful. You were so wrong.
I was so wrong.
That's how I feel about Channing playing Gambit. Just like nailed it.
But now I'm a lot more well disposed to giving actors a chance before I write them off. Like,
had
I
they
wouldn't
just
have.
come out with a Gambit movie flat out and Channing Tatum was in it, I would have watched it because of me being a fangirl for Gambit. I would have been pissed off until it started rolling. And then I would have been very happy, I think.
It's the Cajun accent, isn't it? The Cajun accent is the best accent on earth.
It's so funny that you say that, considering it's just a mix of like Southern and French.
Broken clock is right twice a day.
Okay.
You know.
I just letting you know.
To make something bad, to make something good, sometimes it takes something bad. Look at omelets. Got to murder baby chickens.
No, you don't. They're not fertilized.
Oh, they are the way I make them.
No, they're not.
I insist on fertilized hen's eggs for the extra protein. So how do you feel now? Pretty stupid, right?
Well, I didn't buy them that way. So how do you feel not knowing the difference?
Thank you, Gabby. Gabby agrees with me that the Cajun accent is the best on earth. So you're wrong.
I didn't disagree with you on that. I was just letting you know that you hate the French, and yet part of their accent is in with that accent.
They're not French, though. They're Cajun. The Canadian, the French Canadians are just Canadians. You know, I don't hold it against them.
Yes, you do.
They've got that in their history.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I do
all the time. You're
Never.
like, I'm like, that's the French side of Canada. You just, start going off making weird noises.
Well, you said French in a conversation.
Just saying. Anyway, his perfect accent made me feel like I was back in the 90s watching the X-Men comic, cartoon. Everything a Gambit should be.
I really like the X-Men movies. So it's frightening how old they are now. But, I really
again, to a point.
Wait, are you talking about the original trilogy?
Yeah, and Days of Future Past, First Class. I loved all of those.
Okay, I haven't watched past the trilogy.
Days of Future Past is amazing.
I was so mad at the trilogy that I quit watching any of them, and it made me go from having like just a mild like apathy towards Wolverine into like outward disdain. I hate Wolverine now because of those movies. I used to just not give a shit. Because, okay, first of all, why are they out there making Scott Summers look like a little pussy? Like, why?
He was.
He's a leader of the X-Men, and he was not a pussy like that.
Oh, come on. Cyclops was a waste of a costume.
No.
Jubilee was more useful than Cyclops.
She absolutely was. Do I get it? Is he a wanker? Sure.
An absolute wanker.
But listen, Wolverine wasn't like running circles around him like that with the Riz and and beating crap up. Sure, Logan will kill a dude and Scott won't. But Scott's no pansy. Like, he's not a pansy. He's the leader of the X-Men, with Professor X. But he's the main guy, and not for no reason whatsoever. Like, just the entire way that they portrayed him was jacked up. Phoenix, that whole thing was wrong. Like, it was The Last
Stand. Yeah, that was an awful film.
It was all, but like all of it was just done badly. I was very upset about all of it. Every part of all three of those movies was just wrong, and and they really played up to Wolverine, like super duper played up to him. Everything was all about Wolverine in all the movies. And even Wolverine Origins sucked. I don't know what to tell you. I was not excited about Deadpool and Wolverine. I was hoping that it was going to be Deadpool and Peter Parker or something, but here we are.
Phil says the next Wolverine will be a Hispanic female. It already is, X-23. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're right.
Oh, well, I haven't watched any of them for ages, but I don't have any sort of knowledge of the X-Men comic books or anything like that. So
you smash coconuts against the wall. You watch Doctor Who, but you don't know about the bloody X-Men. What's wrong with you?
Clearly, a lot.
Fun fact: my least favorite female X-Men is with my favorite superhero of ever. And that's Rogue. Rogue and Gambit are together in recent comics.
You don't like Rogue?
Not a Rogue fan. Funny you said Jubilee. Freaking love Jubilee. Love me some Jubilee.
Jubilee's cool. I mean, she's basically just a mobile disco, but you know what? I'm down for it.
Rogue became cool by association.
She's a cheerleader that hooks up with the high school captain.
Yeah, basically, she's cool by association. She's not cool otherwise. Never been a Rogue fan. So, never been a Jean Grey fan.
Well, she was just like a toned down version of Professor X, and then more powerful. And I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah,
I love Juggernaut. Juggernaut and Sabretooth. Yeah. My two favorite.
I like Nightcrawler. I thought it was a very underused character. I can't remember the actor who plays him, but he was Boris in Goldeneye. That's the only other thing I've seen him in is when he was Nightcrawler.
Yeah, he did good. He did good as Nightcrawler. Did you know that when Nightcrawler poofs from place to place, you can smell the sulfur? So Nightcrawler really smells like farts. Just
okay.
Just a little FYI for people that might not have known that little fun fact about Nightcrawler. When he's poofing in and out, he smells like sulfur.
Okay.
From the pits of hell.
How charming.
From the pits of hell, because I think he's like essentially like ripping and like essentially going through like a hellscape to get from one place to the other. Like
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yes.
I
yes.
could be
Thank
wrong.
you, Phil. Thank you, Phil.
What'd Phil say?
He said Deadpool versus Wolverine was so lackluster. I definitely agree that it's
Yes,
the best
that's the
Marvel
best.
film in recent time, but it is by far the weakest of the Deadpool films.
I would
Well,
agree.
they did have to. They did have to make it. They were losing all that money. They'd wasted so
Yeah.
much on the Marvels and She-Hulk and all those failed franchises,
And
which
now
could have worked if they'd abandoned their woke bullshit and actually followed the comic book. She-Hulk is an awesome character. Oh, sorry. Don't get me started.
once upon a time, I used to, you know how She-Hulk used to have the really fancy glossy sheets, like the full color, like high def for that time. I remember buying one, not knowing who She-Hulk was and what it was about. I just was like, ooh, glossy. I'm going to read it. So that's when I started masturbating to She-Hulk. Because bam, first page, she's straddling a dude. And I was like, I love this bitch. What's up? Next page.
She was a great character. Ruined. And they ruined her.
I never even tried to watch it, dude. Never even tried. I don't watch literally the only reason I watched Penguin was for Colin Farrell, and I'm really glad I did.
Oh, that was a great show.
It was a great show. We're not going to talk about the rest of it, but it was a great show.
The ending did ruin it for everyone, and it's like the scene in It Takes Two that just smashed that game in my mind forever.
Just traumatizes you.
Just traumatizes me. Like fuck their marriage. Fuck it. They should have been separated, and the kid should have been adopted out to parents that gave a shit about her. All right.
So, guys, just before we go, can I ask about the latest Batman film? Have either of you seen that, the Robert Pattinson one?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I have. It was good.
I haven't got round to it, but I keep meaning to. I'll make sure I
will let you know. I will let you know that Robert Pattinson plays an amazing Batman.
He's really good.
However, Bruce Wayne,
yeah, he's a terrible Bruce Wayne. Really bad Bruce Wayne.
He's very reminiscent of like an early 2000s emo kid.
Okay.
It's exactly what he is. Yeah, it's just. But the movie's great. The movie is fantastic.
Yeah, the movie was wonderful. Colin Farrell nails it as a Penguin. You will never recognize him.
Okay.
Riddler's good. I mean, it's not my Riddler, but it's still good Riddler.
Still did good. Yeah, it's a solid movie. Like for real, it's a good movie. And the Penguin show was really great too. It's very much more of a. I was told it reminded someone of what is that that mob show that was on The Sopranos. Yeah, I was told that it was very reminiscent of The Sopranos. So if you like mob stuff, watch it. It's great.
Well, I've been told it's more of a detective film in many ways, so I definitely will check it out when I can.
Yeah, it's very much a mob. Yeah.
Yes. It's villains versus villains. There's no good guys. It's just a mob show.
Yeah, it's a very film noir shot mob show. It's good. It was really good. Colin Farrell deserves so many awards. Their makeup department deserves all the awards. Colin Farrell, sorry.
He heard you say that.
I thought he said first. I thought he said Colin first, and I said
you just shot your shot with him. It's over. He's not going to return your calls now.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, and on that bombshell, that'll wrap us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. It is good night from me, and it's good night from them. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, people.